Hey, welcome and thanks for joining us today. I'm Ian Walker.
And I'm Jesse James, and welcome to Last Call. Kobe.
Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about
The NBA. It's playoff time. Pretty much been a three-team race the entire season: Cleveland, Golden State, San Antonio. But today we're going to talk about a couple other teams, mainly Oklahoma City, but really mainly why Toronto and the LA Clippers are being left out of the conversation. Why do you think that is?
I think Toronto, because no one's taking them seriously. Haven't really got out of the first round, and when they did, second round playoff didn't look pretty.
They did get schwacked in that playoff series 2 years ago.
They're 37-18 on the year. Clippers 37-19, so the comparison's cool. I like it.
Cool.
But one thing that kills me about Toronto is they're 9-1 in their division. Oh, that's great. They're 9-1 in the division. Hold on.
Can I tell you who's in that division?
Yeah,
Can I tell you
go.
who's in the division? Okay, so we have the Boston Celtics, who are 33-25. Very respectable. Brad Stevens doing a great job. Let's talk about the other three teams in that division. You have the New York Knicks, who tried to fool everybody. They're still rebuilding. Oh, and they've already fired their coach. We have the Brooklyn Nets. I can't ever get that team name right. The Brooklyn Nets, who also fired their coach this year. No one can even tell you who the coach is right now. And then we also have the Philadelphia 76ers, who are one win away from just barely not having the worst record of all time in the NBA. So yes, of course you should be 9-1 against that putrid division. Ridiculous. Like, Toronto, congratulations, you won the lottery by being in the Atlantic Division this year.
But I will back them up on this fact. They do shoot 78% from the free throw line. As a team, that's very good.
Very and very helpful in the playoffs.
Yes, when you got teams like the Clippers that shoot at like 69%. So
Not good.
Their big thing is they don't have a liability on the free throw line, which is good in the playoffs. They have that experience from last year, but until you prove them you can get to the finals, I don't see you as a potential threat.
Here's two things I will give the Toronto Raptors. Obviously, three things. One, they seem to be very well coached. They are exceeding expectations. And the two other things are two guys named Lowry and DeRozan. You have two guys that don't scare in the fourth quarter, guys that can take over games. But my question is, do they have guys that can take over series? LeBron can take over a series. Clay, Steph, Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, Durant, Westbrook, Chris Paul. As much as we're going to talk about the Clippers later and their playoff struggles, they at least have guys. Do the Raptors have guys that can take over a series? And we haven't seen that yet.
And at the end of games, who's going to take the shot? Is it Lowry? Is it DeRozan?
Well, we know who wants to take the shot. It's Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
But, that's the question.
But that's also the problem with their team.
Who's the lead guy on that team? Yeah. Same problem Oklahoma City has. And we have a guest joining us today.
Sorry about that.
Good friend of ours, a great Pittsburgh Steelers fan, joining in on the show today. So anyways, we were talking about the Toronto Raptors.
I don't think they have anyone that has that killer instinct that I want the ball, and everyone's gonna be like, all right, here's the ball. You don't have that Kobe Bryant, like, here's the ball, take over.
I agree.
I think they have two perennial all-stars in DeRozan and Lowry. They average about 45 points a game, and that's good and all, but they both average over 20 points a game. The next closest
The third best player is a dude whose name nobody can announce on radio. So we can't pronounce his name, but he's very good.
13 points per game. So, they have a big fall off there. So, if you shut down Lowry and DeRozan, what the heck are they going to do offensively?
They can give the ball to Luis Scola, but Luis Scola's not the player he was when he was in Indiana. He's not the player he was when he was in New Orleans.
Not the player he was in Houston.
Not the player. He didn't fall off by the time he got to Houston, but yeah, honestly, the big three model in the NBA is kind of what you need to have. You have to have guys. Golden State, they don't like to admit it, but Draymond Green's part of their big three. You have to have that third option when the other two guys are struggling, and we'll get to that with Oklahoma City, and we'll get to that when we talk about the Clippers.
Speaking of Oklahoma City, let's move on to Oklahoma City. They're 40-16 on the year, quietly, I must say, because everybody's kind of like they're 40-16. That's better record than everybody but Cleveland in the East.
It's a great record. The only problem is that there's a team in their conference that's challenging the '96 Bulls. San Antonio's undefeated at home. And Oklahoma City has two guys that you want to talk about, and then pretty much nobody else. And they've gotten schwacked by Cleveland twice, as recently as Sunday. And so the question with Oklahoma City is, I mean, they average 110 points per game, which is amazing. They're in the middle of the pack defensively. So the question is, if Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook have an off series, do they even have a third option that can sustain them through a playoff series?
Offensively, I think so. Cantor can play offensively, but there again, he's a liability defensively in the fourth quarter.
Ian, he can't guard a paraplegic on defense.
I know.
But let's keep it real. Like, this is the one statistically proven maybe the worst defensive player of all time. I just didn't mean to correct you, want to throw that out there. So I agree. Yeah, and their bench is suspect. I mean, I like Billy Donovan. What is Billy Donovan and Billy Donovan just unleashed? I mean, don't get me wrong. Westbrook is unleashed. Westbrook is doing what Westbrook does, and it's amazing. But I just don't. I think Durant's going to leave after this year because they don't put enough around him to seriously contend. Because the only way they win, the only way they get to the finals is if Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook just go absolutely bananas. That's their only chance.
But to their defense, Golden State's biggest problem, when they play Portland the other night, is when a one or two players just go completely nuts and ball. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook can ball from time to time.
They can. Can they do it at the same time? And
We haven't seen that yet.
And will hero ball kill them in the fourth quarter of a series?
When does hero ball become zero ball?
Yes. And I hate talking about Westbrook shooting them out of games because Westbrook has been their best player this year. No shade to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, top 5 superstar in it, so you need to stop being so damn sensitive in the media. But it's your free agent year. People are going to ask these questions. People are going to speculate where you're going. Kevin Durant, you're a great player. You're a great human being. Just stop being so sensitive. Stephen A. Smith will tell you the same thing. But I just worry about them because they're sitting in the 3rd seed. So they're going to have to play San Antonio in the second round? Mm-hmm. Now, Oklahoma City historically with Durant and Westbrook healthy has given San Antonio fits. But will they have enough left if they get past San Antonio to deal with Golden State?
I think their biggest thing is, Kawhi Leonard's going to be able to lock either KD or Russell. Well, who's going to guard the other one?
Very true. Is Klay Thompson going to guard? The question really is who's going to guard Russell Westbrook? Yeah. Because let's be clear, nobody on earth can shut him down. But who?
No.
Is there anyone on Golden State who can slow him down? And I'm not sure.
I think the length of Harrison Barnes or Klay Thompson can bother him. I said bother. I didn't say slow down. I said
bother. Which can.
Which that also helps them with KD is they can they're bigger. Harrison Barnes I believe is 6'7", and Klay Thompson
is like
6'5", 6'6".
And don't forget about AI.
Long. And AI that will come off the bench.
The one advantage Golden State does have is they can throw multiple guys at Kevin Durant.
Yeah, they can't throw multiple guys at Russell Westbrook.
No, I mean Russell Westbrook's the most athletic point guard I've probably ever seen before.
And
so
at points, you're going to have Steph guard him one-on-one. For how much I love Steph Curry, he can't play defense against Russell Westbrook for 40 minutes.
Steph Curry's got good ankles now, it seems like, but if he tries to guard Russell Westbrook, his ankles are going to be the way his ankles were at the beginning of his career.
He's going to turn into Tony Parker. Tony Parker ain't guarding him for 40 minutes. That's why San Antonio's in trouble with OKC.
And we're gonna get to them a little later. They whine all the time. You got Chris Paul and DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin beating up little people. I mean,
speaking of why I think they're whiners, you know why he beat him up is because he's super sensitive. He was telling them that they're better without him. Hey, wait, let me think. They are. They're 18-5 without him.
No. I would like to see who they're playing. I think the ball moves better without him.
They're 19-6 without him.
19-6 without him. Every number suggests they are a little better without Blake Griffin. This year they can't make a deep run without Blake Griffin just because Blake Griffin will open up. It'll give Chris Paul opportunities that Blake gets doubled. For some reason, this team is 22nd in defensive rebounding. I don't understand that to save my life.
They get about 42 to 45 a game. Oh, wait, where does 30% of the rebounds come?
DeAndre Jordan. I guess if you would say if you looked at the dunks, it'd be the same thing. The problem with the Clippers is we know that they've never been out of the second round. There's always been a knock on Chris Paul. For the offseason moves they made, their bench isn't any better. Their solution was Paul Pierce, who, listen, one of the most clutch players of all time, but I don't know how much Paul Pierce is going to do for this team, maybe in the locker room. I love Doc Rivers, but I think the clock is running out on Doc, the GM, and then soon on Doc, the coach, which should have never done both jobs. It's almost an impossibility in the NBA. I can't figure this team out. J.J. Redick can shoot it, Jamal Crawford can shoot it, but it seems like there's always something off or going wrong with this team, and I can't figure it out. It's Blake Griffin's is emotional, or DeAndre Jordan missing free throws, or Chris Paul gets injured, or Jamal Crawford goes cold, or they still don't have a bench.
Your thing, that's my point exactly. Down the stretch, what do you need? Free throws and rebounds.
And depth.
Oh, wait. They have one of those, but he hampers the other one. And then they don't have a bench.
Yes.
So that hampers another one
What
because you got to put
happened last year?
DeAndre Jordan on the bench.
What happened last year against Houston?
So all three of those just explode in their face because the three most important things down the stretch explode in their face because
And that's how they give up
Jordan.
leads. They have leads in most of these
DeAndre
games.
Jordan.
They've had leads against Golden State.
And when they play
DeAndre
San
Jordan.
Antonio, what is Popovich going to do? And you can't make free throws. So
And you know,
don't come whining to me saying we need to change the rule. Make your damn free throws.
if Pop, the greatest coach in the NBA, if Pop is employing that strategy, it's for a reason. I don't even know why we're talking about the Clippers. The reason the Clippers aren't getting the attention that people think they deserve is because you can't get to the damn Western Conference Finals. When you got a 3-1 lead against Houston, you choked it away, and then y'all cried all offseason how people weren't getting along, and you went to DeAndre Jordan's house, and then Blake ended up hitting the damn equipment manager. I'm done talking about the Clippers.
All right. We got to throw them in here just because I think under the radar, Miami could possibly
There'll be a tough. Well, I didn't think about that when we wrote this in the pre-show. Miami Toronto would be interesting because we know Miami has that guy, Dwayne Wade. Chris Bosh can stretch out a defense. I think Miami. Now I don't think Miami's a threat to Cleveland. Maybe emotional reasons. And Spo coached LeBron at one time. Miami is an interesting option in the second round against Toronto, but we don't have the bottom of the East. The bottom of the East, not the least, actually better than the West this year. We don't have the bottom of the East listed, but if Miami gets out of the first round, they could give Toronto trouble.
Either Charlotte or Atlanta.
Atlanta doesn't even know what they want to do with their damn team.
They're tanked. They've tanked. They tried to give away drafts.
They tried to give away drafts, and they're just the bottom of the East is so bad they can't not make the playoffs. Who is the other team? Charlotte
can score.
Kemba Walker's way better of an NBA player than I thought he would be. I love Kemba Walker on one of my favorite UConn teams of all time, but they're not going anywhere. And I guess we'll throw Boston in there on the West side just because they average 106 points a game. Brad Stevens is proving to be an amazing coach. Isaiah Thomas is a great point guard. Boston, and listen, Cleveland swept them last year. They gave Cleveland hell in that first round.
Yeah, they were four tough games, but they did sweep them, but they were four tough games.
Four tough games, and Kevin Love kind of